And it's very, subhanallah, profound, because the ayat, the way that been mentioned, to give you perspective of whoever who go against the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is something that it really, I mean, is astonishing. It's like something, how can this happen? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have you seen? I mean, istighrab, it's like something is like so strange. It's really strange for someone to go against the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's really strange to say to someone, do not pray. It's really strange to drive people out of their homes because they say, La ilaha illallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way that the speech is directed here, to make you feel something deep. Because how do you think of someone who has, you know, people are thirsty looking for water, and the person had the water and hiding it? I mean, it's very strange. I mean, you say how this person is thinking, how can he think? I mean, he has enough water for himself, but he's hiding the water. So you're gonna say, like, how this person is thinking? I mean, how can he act such a way? That's the way of the speech that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يَنْهَى. Don't you see the person who forbids? عَبْدًا إِذَا صَلَّى. Strange. So it has its you know, profound meaning. As you see, the Quran, not only we recite it, you know, to just the words, we recite the words, but it comes with its emotion, with its feeling. Because there is a way, you know, when you recite the Quran, is kind of inviting or instructing for us to feel certain feeling too. You can see this in Surah Al-Rahman. Every time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ has a different feeling than the one after it. All of them has, every one of them has a specific feeling, because it comes to finish one set of ayat, or one ayat. The last part, 15 to 18. 15 to 18. The closing is 19. So if we'll go, if you remember here, Surah Al-Qiyamah, we did the topic 3, main topic Qiyamah. So for us, is the main topic is, you know, the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the knowledge. I mean, we might find other also, but this is, as in our class here in our analysis, the base is the same. So the base is the knowledge and the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the authentic knowledge, and we're going to see that. The core should be the first Iqra, and the relation between knowledge, man, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first then branch, or we can say like the knowledge and the thing can be the same also. The base and the triangle will be the same. The first branch will be the Iqra up to 5. The second one will be the al-istighna, the situation of people who are astray and what the reason of going astray. The third one, or the fourth one, which is, we said, the situation how a person going, you know, to stand against the way of Allah and forbidding people to pray, as the story of Abu Jahl and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in this, actually, if we give it a title, it's the challenge of the da'wah. I mean, the trial of life. the trials of the life. Because when you're going to convey your message, you're going to encounter such challenges. Subhanallah, that's if we come here, we can go back to Hadith Aisha. The Prophet ﷺ, he was kind of amazed to hear from Waraq ibn Nawfal that his people, they're going to expel him out of his town. He said, are they going to do that? So this is already, in the spirit of this ayat. The other part that we have mentioned is Allah's protection to the believer. Allah's protection. Kalla la illam yantahi. And that's what gives the power to the heart of the believer to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah defends the believer. And the closing is focus on your purpose. Kalla fasjud waqtab. To focus on the purpose, the more you make qira'ah, the more you make sujood. The more you make sujood, the more you come close to Allah, the better you fulfill your journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the topic 3 from Surah Iqra. Any comment or anything to add or question? 15 to 18 is Allah's protection to his believer. So this will be like the reliance of the believer on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala care about his servant. The core and the trunk, we said trunk or core is one of them. Now we give like ideas, we don't, specific. We can focus on other part, which is the name of the surah, which is Al-Alaq, which is going to go through the Tafseer. But the main topic is the knowledge, the mean to get to Allah. The knowledge is the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, the knowledge is what we're going to try to understand, because the knowledge has different, I will say, aspect. Knowledge of the gift of Allah help you to be humble and show humility to Allah. Knowledge of the wahy of Allah help you to be upright on your path, and so on. So in this first ayat, also you can see all the types of the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this first ayat. I will refer to some books of tafsir to go through that, inshallah ta'ala. طيب. Any question? طيب. اقرأ. So اقرأ is read. So some of the people, they ask how reading, when you say, for example, read, but read usually is something that someone has in his hand to say read. So how can we explain the read part? Because some of the narration here, he said recite. He said recite, he didn't say read. We had before more translation, I don't know. Let's add more translation to see the differences. So اقرأ, read, proclaim, recite. اقرأ in Arabic, as you say here, when you say اقرأ, is to do the qira'ah in the present time or in the future. So when you say someone اقرأ, read, so you're going to read either what you have then, or we're going to read what you're going to say. Okay, say when I receive the letter, I will read it for you. Read. So اقرأ first is either, to happen, then at the present time or in the future. That's one thing. And it means here, read what we're going to dictate on you. Because Jibreel alayhi salam then قال اقرأ باسم ربك. And also قراءة is to read what, if you can read from a sahifa, a page or a text, or what you can read from your memory, also قراءة. So read, it can go for both. It can go for both. Then اقرأ باسم ربك. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. So subhanallah, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling to the Prophet or teaching us the key to the impossible is Bismillah. Because 3 times he said, I don't know how to read. So the first, the Prophet ﷺ said to inform, the second to confirm, the third is like, this is yaqeen, I cannot read, I'm not able to read, I don't know how to read. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, اقرأ باسم ربك. So you're going to read by the help, the guidance, and the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the key of knowledge, the key of the path, the key of life is in the name of Allah. The first name that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, Rabbik, so Rububiyyah. And the Rububiyyah would mean the one protecting you, the one caring of you. Now remember this surah, it's, we describe it, alhamdulillah, in the event, to describe the importance of the event. It was an universal event because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is His bounty and rahmah to turn to the humankind to save them. Allah could have subhanahu wa ta'ala ignore the humankind, let them into their blindness, drowning, and then they come to the day of judgment, He threw them all in hellfire. Subhan. Or He could, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, if He will have everybody punished now. But Allah's rahmah, that He reconnect back with the humankind to give them this opportunity of rahmah. So this opportunity of rahmah, you only can get to it through the name of Allah and through the knowledge. اقرأ باسم ربك. So Ar-Rabbu is the caring one. Ar-Rabbu is the one who watch over you, defend you, take care of you. Ar-Rabbu. So when you connect Iqra wa Rabb, so Al-Qira'atu is rahmatun min indillah. It's a mercy from Allah. It's a great mercy. It's a great gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first attribute of a Rabb that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned here, قال الذي خلق. So a Rabbu here give us the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rabbik, the Tawheed, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first attribute, the Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the one who have things to exist is your Rabb. How beautiful. Asking you to read. And you do not know how to read, we're going to teach you how to read. So look, subhanallah, in this first ayah, how the Prophet ﷺ and his followers and the whole humankind has been elevated. The key of knowledge that you can get only with the name of Allah, the one who had things to exist. So you're not gonna get the knowledge from a wise person, from a scholar, from someone who's been collecting wisdom for years, from someone who's he lived 1,000 years. No. These all mortal, these all people are limited in capacity, in knowledge, in vision, in comprehensiveness, in universality. They're limited life, weak. No, you're taking it from the one who created. الذي خلق. Then he's gonna give you one type of creation that concerns us, to understand how al-qira'ah and al-ilm, the knowledge, how important in our journey. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring you back to your origin to show you the great gift of Allah on you. خلق الإنسان من علق. الذي خلق. So you say خلق what? خلق everything. Then comes to you to show you, subhanallah, as example to the whole creation around you. To the whole creation around you. So this whole creation cannot come, subhanallah, randomly. If it came randomly, how can a alaq turn to human being that he can read and teach and build and project and engineer and do all this? خلق الإنسان, created man from a clot, clinging substance. And al-alaq, it's a type of a worm, very small, like leech, that get into on the you see them on the back of animals or on their mouth, and they suck blood, and it has, subhanallah, a specific form. So when you look at al-alaq, it has the same shape as this worm. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you something that you cannot see, but He'll give you an example in the nature to relate to it. Everybody look at the small worm, and now we have the visibility, we have the opportunity to look at the alaq. They said, this was me, right? That's how you were. خلق الإنسان من علق. So the one who had the power to create man from alaq and to put him in ahsani taqweem, that's the one that you need to submit to, that's the one that you need to show full humility to him subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he is your Rabb, the one who watch over you, the one who care about you, the one who created you. He asks you very simply, come to me, and to do that, iqra. So we have here Rabbuk, sifatu af'al. So the attributes of Allah, one of them is khalaqa. خلق الإنسان من علق, so his creation, his fi'l, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then iqra, again, confirm, iqra. So it's like not iqra to know, iqra to think, iqra to reflect, iqra to the whole journey. So it's like generation, succession after. وَرَبُّكَ الْأَكْرَمُ. الْأَكْرَمُ subhanallah, the most generous. So here we have another name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which like, in this name you see sifatu subhanahu al-rahma, sifatul jamal, the beauty, the attribute of the greatness and generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here, he's saying here أحد قال in these 5 ayat from the beginning of the surah, it has the principle or the foundation of all the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah here was mentioned with Ar-Rabb. Ar-Rabbu, which include the existence of the divinity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His oneness. الذي خلق and الذي علم بالقلم, both قال it has صفات الأفعال, the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فعل, of Allah doing. قال and then قال والأكرم يتضمن صفات الكمال والتنزيه عن النقائص. Al-Akram, it has all the attribute of the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and of, that He's exalted from any shortcoming subhanahu wa ta'ala. الذي علم بالقلم, the one who has taught by the pen. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم, he taught man that which he knew not. علم بالقلم, so he taught the writing. And the writing is something, subhanallah, when you think about it, let me share with you the way how, to convey knowledge. قال, there are 3 types of conveying the knowledge. وتحصيل العلوم يعتمد أمورا 3. To get the knowledge, acquire the knowledge, it really, require, or the requirement are 3, or it may conveyed or taught through mainly these 3 ways. قال أحدهما الأخذ عن الغير بالمراجعة, to take the knowledge from another person by reviewing. والمطالعة, and by reading. وطريقهما الكتابة وقراءة الكتب, how the way is to write and to read books. Through the kitaba, that nation, could, have the ability to write down the opinion of their scholars, of their wise people, and to spread it all over their community or their, people, or to have it for the next generation and so on. والثاني التلقي من الأفواه بالدرس والإملاء. The second one is to learn from the speech of people of knowledge, by their speech and by the imla, someone who make dictate. The third one, قال ما تنقدح به العقول من المستنبطات والمخترعات. What one can have, subhanallah, as khatira, a thought that it came to his mind, that through reading and studying And subhanallah, Allah gave him to inspire him to have new, for example, new thoughts, new ideas, and so on. So the first one is allama bil qalam. The second, the first and the second one, علم الإنسان قال علم الإنسان بالقلم, the first one and the second one. The third one, those ideas that someone, come to him or to her after studying and reading, and he get like, nice idea and he write it, that's the second one. قال علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. He taught the man what he knew not. The importance of Iqra and of the Kitaba is very, subhanallah, profound. Now, imagine someone, for example, get an example, want to study, things about anything that, in the nature, for example, If you want to study it, for example, studying mountains, how deep they are, like in the water. So to know all of that is going to have you do a lot of study, a lot of work. You have to go there, find the tools, how to measure them, or maybe you said, should I measure them? Maybe there's another way to do it. So it's like people, what they say today, reinventing the wheels. Huh? So subhanallah, there's people who did it before you, and they put it in writing. You come, subhanallah, all what the thoughts of a scholar that he had, all the effort of a scholar, of learned people, their, standing the night, their, subhanallah, analysis, their life of teaching, you get it in one book. You get it in one book. So Iqra is not just the words, is behind it all that effort. If you put the whole Sahih al-Bukhari, that's minimum of 16 years of great effort. There's books that been written for people, to come to make analysis of his, theory, or of his conclusion, of his vision. It's for a lifetime. So you find the book a juice of a whole lifetime of knowledge, of a journey of knowledge. And then when you read that, with your journey, subhanallah, you'll come up with another ideas. So that journey, your own journey, kind of fertilized by the other, or in haste, you're going to have, subhanallah, another journey. So you come after generation, the way of the Kitaba, if you have, by reading a book or referring to one of the scholars, is like you are referring to, maybe, thousands of years of effort of knowledge. So see how profound is the Iqra. There's people, subhanallah, it took them years to come up to a conclusion. The gift of Allah, you'll find it written in a book. You find people, worshipping and, very close to Allah. They had the opportunity and the gift to get to the state of ihsan. So when they say saying, it's really amazes you. I said, there really exist people like that. So what these people are saying, someone, subhanAllah, might be in his whole lifetime will not be able even to come to that level to see it, or to even cross his mind. So the Islam, when you focus on Iqra and on the knowledge, because the knowledge is, subhanallah, what the humankind accumulate and would help for the humankind to fulfill this great objective that they have in building or in achieving the welfare in this universe. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He mentioned al-kitabu wal-kitabatu wal-ta'lim, because He said allama bil-qalam. So allama bil-qalam referred to the writing, But this is, ikhwani, how important is the knowledge. So what type of knowledge, if you want to ask the question, first the knowledge of Bismi Rabbik. If I'm going to read in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Alladhi khalaq. So the first knowledge is to know the one who created me, because here I'm not going to just go through it without reflecting on the one who's teaching me. So that's the first knowledge. The other knowledge is to learn to know your own self. To know your own self. Because by knowing your own self is going to help you to determine your own needs. If someone does not know his own self or her own self, then they're going to be lost in satisfying the true needs. Someone say, subhanallah, say a person from alaq, and the other person, he'll look himself or herself like Fir'aun. They need to have everything. They are the greatest. They are the most important people, like the center of the world. That ego that kills everybody. So knowing the self is, subhanallah, when he said min alaq, it referred to that humility that human being has to have. And if you have humility, then you value the meaning of iqra, value the meaning of knowledge, and that knowledge that leads you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That knowledge that keep you always knocking the door of in the name of Allah. Iqra wa rabbuka al-akram. So your qira'ah, is going to be by the help of your Allah, your Rabb, who is the Akram, the most generous, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The most generous, He's Ar-Rahman, He's Ar-Rahim, He's subhanallah ta'ala, amma yaqulun, everyone. So you have a path, is very clear. And your Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is Al-Akram. الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. So, not only this is how to convey the knowledge, how to, have the knowledge for the next generation, and then how that Allah will teach you knowledge that you do not know. When it's been narrated that Salman al-Farisi, and in another narration, another Sahabi, so they were around, companion, they talking, and some of them, they were talking about, I'm the from family so and so, and from tribe so and so. So when they turned to Salman, Salman, he's like, kind of immigrant. Came from Fars, Salman al-Farisi. So he said something profound to help his brother rethink what they have said. قال I am asli, my origin is a blood clot, alaq. And my aunt is a dead corpse. And between them I carry my najasa inside me. This is humility. This is humility. So that's who I am, insane, like everybody else. Is not my family is gonna make me a great person. Is my deeds who gonna make me close to Allah, a noble person. So he said, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ عَلَقٍ. So the path to make you someone noble is the knowledge. And the knowledge that you inquire for the sake of Allah, and inquire by the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the first part, and how important the reading. And the majority of Muslims, they do not read, even the Quran. وقال الرسول ربي يا ربي إن قومي اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجور. So the most important thing in the journey of Muslim, in their life, in their community, in their society, in their family, is the reading. تفضل. Well, this is اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. So this Rabbik, who is Rabbik? The one who created. So that's what I have said. So the one who's teaching you, telling you to read, is the one who had things to exist. So there is no better knowledge or sound knowledge that can be learned from other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if the one who knows, for example, what he created, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to talk to you about things, He's the one who created you. So He's the only one who knows truly what you need. So that's the relation between. The second one, al-khalqu, is to, as example of khalq, to have you ponder on yourself as analogy to the whole creation around you. So everything is functioning in the greatest accuracy and precision as your body. Who created your body? Who created Allah? So Allah taking care of that too. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-alaq wal-insan, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He said Ar-Rahman, قال علم القرآن خلق الإنسان. علم القرآن, the ta'lim, the knowledge, came before the khalq. It's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His mercy that already prepared for you the element of your path to make you happy and joyful and get you to His rahmah before even your creation. So read to find your happiness and your destiny into the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you only can do it when, which is this next part, you're going to explain it more. When you know yourself, and knowing yourself that you will be pride to be servant of Allah, pride to be prostrating to Allah, and you feel like, subhanallah, that strength, you feel it in the humility, your humility to Allah. واضح. The next part, قال كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى. So this is the second part. So كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى, and we mentioned the story of Abu Jahl. But this is general, that the story of Abu Jahl, to guide us to understand how figure, lived or they live on this planet Earth, how they can go, so wrong, so corrupted, becoming tyrant, arrogant, transgressor. Why? كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى. So subhanallah is like there is something behind it. If you read it, kalla, nay, it's like you're answering something. If you read at the ayah before, So all this is flows with the servant who submitted to Allah, like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, not everybody is going to be, in the way of Allah, in the footsteps of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because this is the very obvious things. I mean, when you read this ayat, the first ayat up to 5, everyone is going to Jannah. Everyone is going to Jannah. Right or not? Iqra, from the one who created you, the path to your Jannah. So my ilm is my path to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what we said. The path, the knowledge is the path of Allah. So what we're talking about, the path to Allah, path to His rahmah, the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So iqra, read, just read this. Sometimes you do not know, but we're talking about the way that we said it, the conveying the knowledge and generation after generation, accumulation of ma'rifah and knowledge, etc. To have, subhanAllah, people at this level. But this is everyone, if they do read, they get to the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But who, the one who do not get to the rahmah of Allah? The one who refuses, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, everyone is going to Jannah except the one who refuses. إِلَّا مَنْ أَبَى. So here, kalla, there's people, indeed, they're going not to read, not to get to the path of Allah, and they're going to be deviated. And not more than that, they're going to stop people from reading, from knowing, to come to the rahmah of Allah. So you see, the path is for everybody, the straight path. But those who are off the path are human beings. What is the main characteristic of this human being? First, their action is al-tughyan. Their characteristic is al-istighna. So here, look. Their action is the transgression. Their characteristic is al-istighna, self-sufficient. So this is, subhanallah, the core or the main reason of people going astray, al-istighna. How can we, define al-istighna? When you say someone is self-sufficient, what does it mean? To self-sufficient, so if we look up here, خلق الإنسان من علق leads to humility. So this person here, الذي يطغى استغنى, he does not know himself. He denies, he forgets who this person is. لا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم. They forget themselves. They forget who they are. Forget means like they live a life without knowing who they are. They didn't ask. So istaghna is like they feel they don't need the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in living their life. Therefore, they do not need tawakkul. They do not need isti'ana. They do not need the qira'ah of the knowledge of Allah to lead them to the mercy of Allah. Why? Because they feel already have everything. Why they feel already they have everything? Because having the heart dead the nafs is the one who governing, and the nafs is blind, is attached to think that satisfy the nafs. What satisfies the nafs from this dunya is wealth, fame, power. So if someone has wealth and with a dead heart, then he feels like he's self-sufficient. Power, fame, and so on. They control their life, they govern their life, they have everything. So these people, subhanallah, are the people who going to transgress, and you see transgress here, they're going to go, as he said here, man does transgress all bounds. Man transgress all bounds. So subhanallah here, the only thing that spread evil in this whole universe is this type of an insan. There is no evil in the universe. Animals, they do not commit evil. The only one who spread evil in this universe is this type of man. And the other side, the jinn, from the jinn kind. So this is very profound, because even when it comes to psychology, al-istighna, when someone feels like he's like self-sufficient, becomes arrogant, does not listen to people, his opinion prevails, belittle other people, and becomes like he's the one who had the truth. He's the owner of the truth. He's the guardian of the truth. But which truth is his own truth? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, كَلَّ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَيَطْغَى. So the transgression of obstructing the way of Allah, of being unjust, of hurting people, of slaying people, all of that, this tughyan, when it happened, when the person is istaghna. And istaghna from who? When he forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when forget his origin of a creation. See if there's anything we can add from here. قال والاستغناء شدة الغنى. الغنى is to be rich. الاستغناء high level of richness. But here it being used as figure of speech. استغنى also actually from its حقيقة that feel self-sufficient. استغنى. قال رآه يطغى، قال الحرف كذا كذا. وعلة هذا الخلق أن الاستغناء تحدث صاحبه نفسه بأنه غير محتاج إلى غيره. الاستغناء make a person to feel that he is not in need of anybody. وأن غيره محتاج, and other people are in need. Him, he does not need anybody, but people are in need, and men then they're gonna need this person. فيرى نفسه أعظم من أهل الحاجة. Then he will see himself higher and greater than the people who has needs. ولا يزال ذلك التوهم يربو في نفسه حتى يصير خلقا حيث لا وازع يزعه من دين. And this type of character still grow within himself or herself to the point that none of the reminder of the deen will help this person. That's it, he's dead. Or, or any, try of reflection, sound on good reflection is not going to help this person. فَيَطْغَى عَلَى النَّاسِ, then he transgress, and transgress people. Why? Because of this feeling بأنه لا يخاف بأسهم بأن له ما يدفع به الاعتداء من سلاح. And then he transgress people because he does not fear their reaction. Why? Because he has power. إلى آخره. So this would help us to understand the end of the ayah, the end of the surah. Any question here? No, nay, no, kalla innal insana la yatgha. So kalla, it's like comes to confirm what is coming. Indeed, can be here like indeed man go, transgress. And ra'ahu istaghna, by seeing himself or herself in a state of self-sufficient. That's arrogance, showing off, all those that you see character among many people. طيب, this insan لا يطغى أن رآه استغنى, but the main purpose for the believer إن إلى ربك الرجعى, verily indeed to your Lord is the return. Now the third part, أرأيت الذي ينهى, have you seen the one who forbids? Now, who the one who forbids? The one who is istaghna. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you an idea or an image of his transgression, this person. So this person, he spread mischief on the earth because he's mustaghni. And mustaghni means that he does not believe in Allah. He does not have, this person is not humble. And humbleness and humility comes by believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and increase your humbleness and humility by the knowledge, the light. أرأيت الذي ينهى, have you seen the one who forbids? عبدا إذا صلى, a servant when he prays. أرأيت إن كان على الهدى, tell me if he, Muhammad, is on the guidance, or like, have you seen if he's upon guidance? أو أمر بالتقوى, or enjoys piety. أرأيت إن كذب وتولى, have you seen if he denies and turns away? ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى, does he not know that Allah sees? We have here, subhanallah, the situation. If you just look at the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that we have mentioned of Abi Jahl, people, ungrateful, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, transgressors, they leave their word in full disconnect of the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just to have the image in your mind. So their word, it's belong to them. They want rule whoever they want. Okay? So imagine this description. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to us, say, look to this person. He live in his word. And look what he's doing. Ara'ayta, don't you see this person who stopping, forbidding people to pray? So this person make his own word like governing this world. And by governing this world, he's stopping people to pray to the creator of the whole world. So you see many tyrants, for example, they're stopping people, and like you see it, for example, today, for our people, the Uyghur people in China. Wallahi, you read this ayah. Says like, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يَنْهَى عَبْدًا إِذَا صَلَّى. Look at them. Think they own this word. They own that people. It's like they own them. You know, they have them in concentration. This is a good example for us as a reminder too. Concentration camp. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يَنْهَى. Look at them. And they stopping them to do what? To pray to the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. عبدا إذا صلى أرأيت إن كان على الهدى. Imagine this person that he forbidden to pray, that he's also on guidance. So he's like someone who called for he's someone who's guided. أو أمر بالتقوى. Or a person that more than that, he's calling for the taqwa. And this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell you the level first of the believers and the level of the ungrateful. So it's one who's like just pray, the other one pray and seeking guidance more, and the other one spreading and calling for the taqwa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrath toward the one who stopped one to pray, and greater wrath to one who pray and seeking guidance, and greater wrath for the one who stopped who pray, who's seeking guidance and call for the piety. Wow. And then you have the transgressor, also different. So you have, he's stopping people, and كذب وتولى. Now he's stopping people, and not only that, but he denied and he turned away. Because you find someone like order to stop people, but someone who stop people and he's denying, insisting on his denial, or rejecting the faith and turning away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So greater punishment. And as I described for you, like these people, they think that the world belongs to them. So in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to give you the strength in your heart, said, أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى. No, he's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching, he's seeing everything. So أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى goes with إِنَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ الرُّجْعَى. إِنَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ الرُّجْعَى. So this one who transgressing, he's going back to Allah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's not like heedless now or unaware of what they're doing. He's watching everything. So this is the description of the ayat. What this ayat also implying, what this ayat imply for us too. As I have said before, is the challenge that every believer is going to go through in his life. It's a challenge. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, don't you see who's going to do this? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them this time of life to have a free will. But they chose to hurt, believer, to stop them from doing good, to spread the mischief, because of their characteristic embedded in them of istighna, of arrogance. Then He's telling you, you the one who coming to me with the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's a person who's gonna come to stop you. There's a person who come to challenge you. There's a person who's gonna tell you don't do your da'wah. Then what you gonna do? You're gonna stop reading? You're gonna forget about Al-Akram? You're gonna forget about Bismillah ar-Rahman, in the name of Allah? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you, this is your life, how it's going to be. But this is your Lord, how great He is. So do not be in that small world where this transgressor, they feel that they govern it and they have power over it. You, even if you are persecuted by these people who think that they own this world, you are in the relation with Rabbuk al-Akram. And here comes, as we mentioned in the hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ said, if he just came closer to me, he would have been taken by the angels. قال أرأيت in here قال كلا. Nay. So all what they do is going to be in vain. Why? Because look, there is no one can kill anybody only by the will of Allah. There is no one who dies only by the will of Allah. So if Allah make the transgressor or let the transgressor to hurt a believer, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to reward that believer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he came to the shuhada, he said, and he select from you shuhada. وَيَتَّخِذُ مِنْكُمْ شُهَدَاءَ. So imagine in a battle, the people who died, they'd been selected by Allah before even they get to the battle. So the one who killed them from the ungrateful, what are they going to say? Say, I did this and I did this and I killed so many, so he's like happy. He said, you've been serving the plan of Allah because Allah already selected that person to be shaheed. So قال كلا كلا لئن لم ينتهي لنسفعا بالناصية. Let him be aware, if he desists not, we will drag him by the forelock, or surely drag him قال by the forelock, which is the part, the front of the head here, the forehead. ناصية كاذبة خاطئة, a lying, sinful forelock. So here is kind of description of this person, the one who's stagnant. Because the nasiya, subhanallah, is being said that it is the where the mental, the conscience of the person is there. If this goes, the brain, then that's it. Someone become insane. Cannot do anything. If you drag someone from his nasiya, or you hit on his nasiya, it becomes, subhanallah, an insane person. He does not, like, he became like, less than animal. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this nasiya was very sensitive, but this nasiya, which easily, subhanallah, store the knowledge. This nasiya is the gift from Allah that He created from that blood clot to become like a whole human being and having this mind, this brain. This brain that Allah, the one who created you, give it to you as a gift to read, to learn, to spread the knowledge, to worship your Lord, and so on. You are using it for sinning. You are using it for lying. You are using it for plotting. You are using it for stopping people to pray. You see how big is the crime when you read it like this? Ya Aba Jahl, what do you think? Don't you see yourself? You are a blood clot, and now that you think that you are a big person, powerful, arrogant, if you just Allah take that mind of yours, you became like, subhanAllah, less than animal. Nobody even talk to you, because you will not be even able to speak, to think, to read, to subhanAllah, to give a speech, to order, to not do anything. That's it. He became incapable person. So this is the nasiyah. So if we link the nasiyah, we link it with iqra. So the purpose of the mind is to read the true knowledge that help you to know better Allah, better yourself, to fulfill your mission in this life. But if someone through the istighna, this ill character, you're going to use the gift of Allah to lie, to sin, and to stop the good in this earth. Because subhanallah, the goodness in this earth, the blessing in this earth only increases with piety, with righteousness, and decreases with mischief. So this person not only being given the gift of the mind, but he using it to reduce and destroy the blessing. قال, so this is the nasiyah. Let's see if we have. قال فليدع ناديه. So if it comes to power, it comes to challenge, okay? فليدع ناديه, let him call upon his counsel, his helpers. سندعو الزبانية والعياذ بالله. So he's gonna be dragged from his forehead, from his fallah. Where? To hellfire. Okay, bring all your helper here, you know, to hear the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah is gonna call for you the zabaniya to drag you to hellfire. And this is very powerful because as you see here, there is the time disappears. The time disappears because let him call his counsel. He was in Mecca and the people are watching what he's doing, and he said, let's call everybody to come against you. We called the zabaniya, and the zabaniya to drag him to hellfire in the hereafter. It's like the time disappears, subhanallah. Between nad'u, yad'u, wa nad'u, for us as a believer, how can we fill the blank here, the gap? Sabr. It's patience. Well, that's why the key of piety is patience. And comes the closing, beautiful one. Kalla, nay. If anybody tell you to not pray, do not obey. Look at this picture that we have mentioned. Allah is watching. Allah is caring about you. Allah had the whole power. Whoever hurt you, He's gonna drag him and throw them in hellfire. So for you now that you know all this, you know how the path to Allah, the path to the rahmah of Allah. You know yourself. You know your Lord. You know what He wants for you because He's the Kareem. Now, fulfill your mission. You're going to have challenges. People are going to start to call you names. They're going to, criticize you. They're going to do this. But know that Allah is watching everything. So be with Allah. And do not have anyone stop you from always striving in the path of Allah. What should I do, Ya Allah? Usjud waqtarab. Continue in your sujood. Because the more you are in sujood, the closer you are to Allah. The closer you are to Allah, then nobody can touch you. You are waliyullah. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Man aada li waliyan faqad adhantuhu bil harb. Whoever who show enmity to one of my awliya, I declare war against him or against them. كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب. Do not obey him. Fall prostrate and draw near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are some thoughts from Surah Iqra, following the methodology that we have put together by referring to the books of Tafseer, by referring to reason of revelation, and then studying the topic of the surah, and then based on the topic of the surah, we put together and study the different parts and the closing, the beautiful closing, to make sujood to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as in the hadith of one of the companion came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to serve him. So he said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do you have anything to ask? He said, Ya Rasulullah, I ask to be your neighbor in paradise. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, help me with your request by more sujood. كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب. Any question or comment? Is any of you has the other analysis, so he'll share it with us, or other reflection? Huh? No, we ask for al-alaq. Any reflection to? You can tell us what we should do. There's many things we can do. I mean, the least you can do is the dua. And actually the greatest you can do. If you remember them in your prayer, then that's a great thing for you and for them. This is a great thing. There's other ways, you know, there's some activists, you know, if it's really helpful, someone should. But the first, according to this ayah, أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى. So ask the one who's watching, he sees everything. And being mindful of your brother and sister, that's already a great, you know, achievement in our journey now. Just be mindful of them. Both. I mean, إذا ظلم غيره ظلم نفسه. Because al-istighna is from within, so it's a character. Someone truly feel arrogant, and the arrogant person has two characteristics, as the Prophet ﷺ said. قال غمط الناس وبطر الحق. Look down to people and do not accept the truth. Why? Because this person feels that he had the truth, he owned the truth. Everybody else is wrong. You see it in the news. طيب, inshallah, next time we'll start after at Maghrib time, inshallah, at Maghrib time. We have in the program, let's say, just to show you what we have in the program. So we did Surah Al-Alaq, then we're gonna do Makki ayahs and Madani chapters too, inshallah. No, you took notes. I will, inshallah. Inshallah. That's why we're studying, to take notes. Actually, this is recorded, so you can get back and. Inshallah. So if you have suggestion, you can send them, inshallah, for surahs or ayat to study, inshallah ta'ala. If not, we're going to, the idea is to take some of the Mekki surah or ayat, Mekki ayat, so to see the environment, to apply our principles. You know, to see the environment, the reality, the ambience in which the surah was revealed, and then to build our, analysis based on that, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khairan wa barakallahu fiik.